The Atlanta Falcons have made bold moves before, but this year feels different. With training camp looming and preseason just around the corner, every fan, every analyst, and every rival is watching, waiting to see if the pieces finally fit. But for all the progress, one truth still lingers in the shadows. The Falcons are not complete. Let's start in the trenches, the heart of any real contender. Yes, they've addressed the edge. After years of frustration, Atlanta finally made the leap, using not one, but two first-round picks to chase the quarterback hunters they've desperately needed. Explosive, aggressive, high-ceiling athletes who can bend the edge and bring heat off the snap. It was a risk, but a necessary one. The pass rush has haunted this team for far too long. Still, the job isn't done, because while the edge may now be exciting, the interior tells a different story. They lost a veteran stalwart, a leader in the locker room, and a wall in the middle to free agency. That's not just a gap on the depth chart. That's a hole in the identity of the defense. And yes, they've got young names ready to step up, promising talent, flashes of upside. But this league doesn't run on flashes, it runs on firepower. On 3rd and 1, when the opponent lines up to punch you in the mouth, can this unit stand tall? Can they absorb contact, hold their ground, and shut it down? That's what Atlanta needs. A space eater, a trench warrior, a man who eats double teams for breakfast and never blinks. Someone who can free up the edges to do their job. Someone who can anchor this defense when games get gritty and cold in December. But not everyone sees the same need. Some believe the real concern lies elsewhere, behind center. Despite a reinforced offensive line and upgraded weapons, the quarterback position still raises questions. The franchise has made bets. Draft capital has been spent, but the spotlight remains hot and unproven. Is what's behind center enough to win this division? To go toe-to-toe with playoff-caliber defenses? The offense has potential, but potential doesn't win games. Precision does. Poise does. Playmaking under pressure does. And those answers won't come until the bullets fly for real. Others believe the cornerback spot opposite A.J. Terrell remains a soft spot. Some say a true WR1 still hasn't emerged. And they're not wrong. Atlanta has holes to fill. But one thing is clear. This team is not far. The climb is steep, yes, but the summit is within sight. With the right reinforcement up front and the right leader under center, this Falcons roster could turn the corner. The question is no longer about talent. It's about timing. If the Falcons are serious about building a championship-caliber defense, one truth can't be ignored. A.J. Terrell needs help. He's the shutdown guy. The anchor. The one you trust to lock down a side of the field and erase a top receiver. But this is the NFL. One elite corner is never enough. And if Atlanta's going to run the kind of aggressive scheme their new coaches envision, they need a partner opposite Terrell who can survive the fire and even thrive in it. The question is, who? Some believe the answer could still be out there, waiting, a veteran in the shadows, still unsigned, still hungry. Names like Kendall Fuller, James Bradbury, and Mike Hilton stand out. Experienced players who know the grind, understand zone concepts, and could slide right into a nickel or boundary role. Hilton, in particular, is a technician in the slot. Smart, physical, and scheme-savvy. Exactly the kind of player who thrives under coaches like Jerry Gray and Raheem Morris. Even Rasul Douglas, known for his ball skills and length, could add value with his ability to disrupt at the catch point. And then there's Asante Samuel Jr., young, recovering, overlooked, but brimming with potential. If he's willing to bet on himself with a one-year deal, Atlanta could offer the stage. That's not to say the Falcons don't have internal options. Mike Hughes, signed to a multi-year deal, is likely penciled in as the CB2, a player with promise, but not yet proven to be a lockdown presence. Behind him? Depth, yes, but uncertainty too. Names like Clark Phillips III, D. Alford, Mike Ford, and Keith Taylor fill out the depth chart. Some are special team standouts. Others have shown flashes in camp and preseason, but none have yet seized the mantle of a true starter. Kobe Bryant, versatile and sharp, could become a key rotational piece. And Billy Bowman Jr., the rookie, looks to have the nickel spots sewn up with his speed and instincts. But it's clear there's still a gap. Atlanta needs one more piece in that secondary, not just to fill a spot, but to elevate the defense. Because the Falcons aren't building for respect anymore. They're building for January. And to win when it matters most, you don't just need stars. You need depth, grit, experience. Players who don't flinch under pressure, who don't get caught peeking into the backfield on a double move in the fourth quarter. The kind of corner who doesn't just line up across from your opponent's WR2, but makes them disappear. In every NFL season, there are battles that define a team, battles for jobs, for roles, for the right to step onto the field when it matters most. And in Atlanta, one of those battles may be brewing at cornerback. There's a buzz, quiet but growing, that one of the lesser-known defensive backs on this roster could challenge for the CB2 role by the time the season settles in. He's young, hungry, raw, but with the right camp, with the right snaps, he might just climb the depth chart faster than anyone expects. It's a long shot, but in a league where talent can't hide forever, it's not impossible. Still, this moment is about more than just one potential riser. It's about the bigger picture, and that picture is starting to take shape. Wide receiver, for instance, is not the concern some make it out to be. The Falcons know exactly who their top trio is. Drake London is the alpha. Darnell Mooney brings separation and speed. And Rondale Moore adds twitch and versatility. Those three set the tone. But behind them, there's depth, real depth. Veterans like Catterall Hodge, who contributes on special teams and as a solid WR4. Casey Washington, young and eager. Jamal Agnew, a spark plug in the return game. And then the hopefuls, Chris Blair, Nick Nash, Jesse Matthews, and Quincy Skinner Jr., whose speed out of Vanderbilt has turned heads. The room is crowded, competitive, and while some may question the lack of a true WR1, the Falcons aren't short on options. Add in Kyle Pitts, whose potential as a receiving tight end remains sky high if he finally puts it all together, and suddenly the picture sharpens. So, if wide receiver isn't the weakness, what is? Quarterback. That's the unspoken question that still lingers over this franchise. Atlanta has made its move, committed its capital. But if the starter falters, or gets hurt, or just isn't enough to go the distance, then what? The market isn't deep, and the salary cap is tight. Roughly $4.9 million remains, not enough to chase big names, but maybe enough for a one-year insurance policy. Could the answer come in August? A post-preseason cut? A cap casualty looking for redemption? This is where the Falcons are now, not rebuilding, not tanking, but walking the thin line between potential and pressure. Every signing, every depth move, every snap of training camp will matter, because the margins are razor thin. And if this team wants to rise, if it truly wants to take the NFC South and silence the doubts, it can't just hope the roster holds. It has to build it for every scenario, including the ones no one sees coming.